We have a loaded show coming up for you on today's edition of the Red Sox Rundown. The MLB GM meetings are currently taking place in Las Vegas, and today we had a flurry, a tsunami, a hurricane full of new news and reports surrounding the Boston Red Sox. A few of the things we're going to talk about on today's show. The Red Sox, are they perfect for Pete Alonso? Apparently, a lot of GMs think they are. We're going to get into that report. Also, is a Jarren Duran trade coming soon? Cover your eyes, Jarren Duran fans. You're not going to want to see this one. And then finally, Freddy Peralta to Boston. That's how we're going to end today's show. But before we get into any of that, do you want the Red Sox to make a big trade? They made a splash last offseason with Garrett Crochet at the MLB winter meetings, which, again, will take place at the beginning of December. If you want them to make another big trade, which we're going to talk about that at the end of today's video with Freddy Peralta, like today's video. Our goal should be to get 100 likes on today's video. If you want them to make a big trade, hit that like button right now. Are the Red Sox the favorites for Pete Alonso? It sure seems that way, according to Bob Nightengale, who dropped a huge article today with a whole bunch of news, notes, free agency, trade targets, all of the above. And in that, there was a little part about Pete Alonso, and MLB GMs believe that the Red Sox are a perfect fit for the slugger. Here's what Bob Nightengale had to say. He said, David Stearns, Mets president of baseball operations, was ready to let Alonso walk last year. Alonso had a monster year, but they still missed the playoffs, making it easier to walk away now. They are preaching defense, or in the words of Stearns, run prevention, and are expected to let him depart unless he signs a deal they can't turn down. Here's the kicker, folks. GMs are predicting the perfect landing spot for Alonso may be the Red Sox. This is a massive update from Bob Nightengale. Now, I will preface this by saying, take anything Bob Nightengale says with a grain of salt. All right, I do want to say that first and foremost. This does not mean that Pete Alonso is signing with the Red Sox tomorrow. That's not what this means. But the fact that, and the way this was worded, is that he's been hearing from GMs that they think the Red Sox are the perfect fit is at least a little bit significant, because this is the first time we've had any real credible reports at all. Now, what would you be getting if you get Pete Alonso? I mean, I don't need to tell you. You'd be filling two of your biggest needs. You'd be getting a first baseman, and you'd be getting that power bat in the middle of the lineup. Arguably, and a lot of people have talked about this in various articles, arguably, he had the best offensive year of his entire career last year, with a 144 OPS plus and 871 OPS, 38 home runs. Now, Kylie McDaniel of ESPN, who's fantastic, put out his contract projections for this year, and those are the projections that I always look at as closest to what actually might happen. And he had the projected contract for Pete Alonso at 4 years, $110 million. That is 27.5 average annual value. I would do that deal, in a heartbeat. 27.5 mil for Pete Alonso? Sign me up. Here's what Kylie McDaniel had to say about Alonso. He said, Alonso's base running and defensive metrics continue to regress, almost entirely due to his range. Some evaluators think he should be a primary DH going forward, which would hurt his long-term value. There's some of the Schwarber logic here. Everyone in baseball would like to have Alonso for the next few seasons. But then the interest gets more mixed around season 3 or 4. Will Pete Alonso be your first baseman forever? No. I don't think anyone that signs Alonso, whoever signs Pete Alonso, I don't think anyone's expecting Pete Alonso to be your first baseman in the next 4 years. Let's be real with ourselves. I'd still give him the contract, though, because you address two needs right away with a right-handed bat and a power bat in one signing. You need to find a right-handed bat, preferably a right-handed power bat, that can play first base. You tackle all of those requirements in one signing, Pete Alonso. And then, in 2 years, you can get off Masataka Yoshida. He no longer has to fill that DH hole. and you got Pete Alonso as your DH. That sounds pretty good. For $27.5 mil AAV, I would do that in a heartbeat. You let me know, though. Would you sign, or no, excuse me, will the Red Sox sign Pete Alonso? I want you to predict it. Not what you would do, but what will actually happen. Will the Red Sox sign Pete Alonso? S for sign, P for pass. You let me know down below in the comments. Like I said, if it's that deal that Kylie McDaniel was mocking, I would do it in a heartbeat. But you let me know. S for sign, P for pass. Let me know in the comments. Is Jarren Duran gone? That's our next story here on today's video. So Bob Nightengale continued. He had a list of trade candidates from all the various teams around Major League Baseball. And unsurprisingly so, Jarren Duran was one of them. Bob Nightengale said he would be shocked if Duran is on the Red Sox next season. Here's the exact quote from Nightengale. The Red Sox believe that they need an upgrade over Duran, which I think we all assume is Roman Anthony, and that he needs a fresh start. It would be a huge surprise if he's in Fort Myers, Florida, come spring training. Now, there was a funny tweet that I saw. I forget who said it, so I cannot give credit. But they said, well, it looks like a Twins trade is off the table because the Twins are also headquartered in Fort Myers for spring training. Obviously, that's not what Nightengale was referring to because he's saying it would be a surprise if he was in Fort Myers with the Red Sox. This is the most smoke we've gotten so far. Again, take it with a grain of salt. This does not mean that Jarren Duran's going to get traded tomorrow. But one thing is for certain, though, and this is something that we have to wrap our heads around if we are Red Sox fans. An outfielder is going to get traded. I'm not saying it's going to be Duran. It could be Cedon. There's rumors around Cedon potentially. It could be Willier. There's a lot of smoke around Willier as well. An outfielder will be traded, though. They have 8 options right now. Well, 7, but if they re-sign Rob Refsnyder, that's 8 options in the outfield. An outfielder is going to be traded. What it comes down to is, who are the Red Sox getting in return? If it's a Hunter Green, if it's a Freddy Peralta, you might be in Willier Abreu range. If it's a Joe Ryan, if it's a Mitch Keller, if it's someone like that, that's more Jarren Duran range, I think. But needless to say, an outfielder will be traded. I'm not saying it's Duran. I'm not saying it's Willier. I'm not saying it's Cedon, but someone will be. The odd man out seems to be Jarren Duran. I've already given my thoughts on why I think he's the odd man out. But just prepare yourself. Because at some point this offseason, an outfielder will not be on this team any longer. It all depends on who you get back. Depending on how high quality of a starter or how high quality of a bat, that's going to determine who gets traded. Predict it for me. Who's Duran going to play for in 2026? R, if you think he stays with the Red Sox. O, if you think he plays for another team. Also, if you think it's O, who do you think he plays for? Let me know down below in the comments. And when a trade happens, we will make a video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you've not already. We got to 7,100 subs. So thank you all so much for that. We are currently at 7,116. Our next goal, 7,200 subs. 84 away. If you are one of 84 people that watches this video that has not already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that sub button, join the channel. Because we put out 2 shorts earlier today around rumors. We're putting out a full-length video tonight. And as stuff continues to happen, we got the GM meetings this week. In a few weeks, we're going to have the winter meetings. Everything is coming to a head. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now. What about a blockbuster trade? How about it? How about a blockbuster trade? We know the Red Sox and Craig Breslow have the balls to make a blockbuster trade. They did it with Garrett Crochet last offseason. Well, Jon Morosi directly linked the Red Sox to a blockbuster trade target, Mr. Freddy Peralta. Here's what Jon Morosi had to say on MLB Network earlier today. The Red Sox, when you think about Garrett Crochet and you consider what they've been able to build there, with the Red Sox getting back to the playoffs in 2025, they're, I think, one starting pitcher away from making a real run at this. And we know they've got an excellent farm system. They even have some position players they could move on from the major league club if they had to, with Duran and Abreu. I think that this is an interesting fit to watch going forward. Potentially Brewers and Red Sox, with the Red Sox having interest in one significant starting pitcher. If Freddy Peralta is available, Craig Breslow should drop everything and make it happen. Make it happen. Freddy Peralta is fantastic. He would instantly be your number 2. You would have one of, if not the best, starting pitching duos in all of baseball. In 2025, 176 and 2/3 innings. A 2.70 ERA, 204 Ks, 66 walks. Don't love the FIP, but doesn't matter. Had a 2.70 ERA. The duo of Garrett Crochet and Freddy Peralta, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, would be the best in baseball, full stop. Find me a better duo than Garrett Crochet and Freddy Peralta. I don't think you can. And I think, and I agree with Jon Morosi. I don't agree with him on the fact of their one starting pitcher away. I do think they need that power bat in the middle of their lineup. Pete Alonso. I do think they need that power bat in the middle of the lineup, but I agree with the sentiment, though, that they are close. They're 1, 2, maybe 3 transactions away from being a bona fide World Series favorite. I'm serious. I'm not just saying that. You get that power bat in the middle of the lineup, you get all of the injured players back healthy, Roman, a bunch of your pitchers. You get that number 2. You already had one of the best bullpens in baseball, and you're really not losing any of your relievers. You could be a World Series favorite if this offseason goes right. And one of the things that they should do, if available, is go trade for Freddy Peralta. Would you trade for Freddy Peralta? This is where we are going to end it, folks. Y for yes, N for no, and every single person in this video should be typing yes in the comments. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you, because this would be an absolute electric factory of a trade, and I would be jumping for joy if I see that pass and bomb of the Red Sox are trading for Freddy Peralta. I don't even know what I would do. I mean, I'd run to the studio and make a video, but I don't know what I would do if that happened. I'd be overjoyed. And if it happens, like I've said, we're going to make a video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you've not already. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. All of those links are going to be down in the comments and description of today's video. Again, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. I know there are many different places that you could consume your Red Sox content. The fact that you decide to watch here means the absolute world. So that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, go Sox.